So our eyes have been designed beautifully like a camera that captures the images and sends signals to the brain via optic nerve, and the images are processed in the brain. So to maintain the integrity and function of this eyeball or this camera, whatever you say, the eye pressure or the intraocular pressure plays a vital role. So the fluid inside the eye has to be in a constant dynamism of constant secretion and drainage. Most often, it is because of the block in the drainage of the fluid outside the eye that results in high eye pressure or intraocular pressure, what we call it as. It has been proven that various risk factors have been associated with glaucoma. Like we have family history, the first degree family members can transmit the disease onto their siblings and the offsprings, and the diabetes, hypertension, and extremes of refractive errors, in the sense high myopia or high hypermetropia, can cause glaucoma, and any eye injuries, present and previous injuries which have already been forgotten, can still cause glaucoma at later part of their life. Any eye surgery and steroid usage in any form for any other problems can still cause high pressures leading on to glaucoma. It is not just that high IOP or high intraocular pressure is equal to glaucoma. Intraocular pressure, which causes the optic nerve damage, which causes the field damage or the side vision changes, that is termed as glaucoma. It can occur by two mechanisms, what we call it as open angle and angle closure glaucoma. So most of the times the open angle glaucoma is totally asymptomatic. The patients don't have any symptoms unless and until they have some vague headache, blurred vision, or frequent change of glasses in itself is an indication that the pressure is fluctuating inside the eye. Whereas the angle closure glaucoma can have sometimes a drastic presentation like blurred vision, eye pain, headache, vomiting, nausea, and sometimes they land up with a physician than the ophthalmologist because of the headache and the vomiting. That is because of the eye pressure that have gone high, really high, that causes all these symptoms. So what we call it as glaucoma is totally a little enigmatic condition, because initially it doesn't have symptoms. So when we tell the patient that the symptoms are quite mild, or then it shouldn't be ignored, because these symptoms will progress to signs like the black spots or the field defects, which later on turn into full-blown glaucoma, leading on to tubular vision, what we call it as tunnel vision or a tubular vision. Tubular vision is when the total field is gone and only you have a central field of vision. So eventually, even that field also is at risk. So once that field is lost, then you will be totally blind. So that affects the quality of life, even when the patient has a tubular vision or the tunnel vision, what we call it as. We have various modalities of treatment, like for any other disease, medical treatment, laser treatment, and then the surgical treatment. So the medical therapy is the most simplest and easiest and accessible for all. It is just in the form of a drops that you have to instill daily, regularly, for the rest of your life, most of the times. Okay, and then we have other modalities also when the medical treatment is ineffective or is not totally effective. So then we have the laser therapies. Laser therapies are iridotomy and trabeculoplasties, that we call it as, to take care of the glaucoma or the intraocular pressure at various levels and at different in different types of glaucoma. So now we have surgeries also. There's a lot of myths about the surgical treatment, because most of the times they feel glaucoma is untreatable, incurable. That's why the surgery also has no benefit. But that is wrong. Surgery, though it is the last modality, or when we don't have a control with medical treatment and the laser treatment, we have surgery that has good efficacy in terms of pressure control. But whatever be the mode of treatment that the patient is receiving, the lifetime follow-up and the eye pressure evaluation periodically has to be kept in mind. So it is unlike any other surgery, like you have your surgery done and then you are free of glaucoma, or glaucoma is cured of life. No. So the glaucoma still remains with you, but it is under control, and that has to be re-evaluated periodically with your eye doctor or ophthalmologist or a glaucoma specialist who will be able to guide you. We all know that the earliest possible, the best possible treatment for glaucoma is earliest detection. So when do we start detecting? So people who have a high risk factors like a family history, or who have diabetes, hypertension, they have to get themselves screened for glaucoma after 40 years. It is not that only after 40 years only these people are at risk. In general, whoever walks in a high hospital has to be evaluated for eye pressures. And then once we see the pressures are high or any other changes that are suspicious of glaucoma, we do a field test, what is called as perimetry. We assess the field of vision, the side vision of a patient with the fields. And then we have optic nerve documentation measures like fundus photograph and OCT to see the changes which occur objectively on the optic nerve. It's just not the detection. We need to have a regular follow-up also to state if the glaucoma is under control or it is being managed effectively. So these tests, the pressure recording, the field examination, the OCT or the scans or the fundus photograph documentation have to be carried out periodically, maybe a yearly or a 6-monthly, depending on the stage of the glaucoma, or as advised by the ophthalmologist, so that your sight is preserved for your lifetime.